All right, guys. We're back here at the Goldwave podcast. I'm back here with George because we have some unfinished business. And we're going to get straight into it. George, do you even remember everything that we covered last time?
Somewhat. I mean,
is there anything specific that you want to dive just straight into? Because I know we covered a lot, but I also know that maybe we might have skimmed through certain things. But if there's anything that you want to start with, let's hit it.
Yeah, well, let's just start with, it's the 1 year anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II. She died a year ago.
Today?
No,
this month.
Was like September 8th.
September 8th.
Yeah. She's
a 1 year anniversary.
She was important because she was the Queen of Babylon, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
She was the Queen of Babylon.
Yeah.
For her whole reign.
Yeah, she was like that symbology, man. If you read Revelation.
Can you give us maybe like, I guess, a good example that you can think of how it represents that? Because I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's some people that might agree with you, but there might be some people that don't even know, you know?
Well, yeah, to explain, we have to explain who they are, dynasties, like what the history of the royal family. But she was pretty much in the Bible. It's in Revelation. It says there's three beasts. There's the dragon, and we covered that last time.
Yeah.
There's the dragon, the beast of the sea, and the beast of the land. But the dragon is ridden by the whore of Babylon, and that's actually the Vatican.
Okay.
But her reign was also kind of like that same thing. Like it was seen like she was like a Queen of Babylon figure.
Okay.
She lasted a long time.
She was working towards the same goals as the Vatican. Is that?
Yeah, because they're now united. Because you can see it like where the England, not more like the royal family, right? Like they're like the heads of Freemasonry.
Okay.
You can look up Prince Edward, Duke of Kent. He's the Queen's cousin, and he's the top dog. He's the head Mason.
Okay.
Of the. And, the headquarters are in England, and that's when Freemasonry started in England in the 1700s. So they're the heads of that, and then the Vatican is they always had like a rivalry.
The Vatican and the royal.
Vatican and the Masons.
And the Masons. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like?
But now they're united.
Do you feel like the Masons were, in essence, good?
I mean, it was
good-hearted, you know.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, in and of itself, but it was used by the nobility to consolidate power. Mainly to maintain all the connections between all the different people involved.
But secretly, or what do you mean?
There's an inner order.
Okay. And
not everyone that's a Mason is a bad guy. They don't even know what's going on.
For sure, you have to be high up ranked.
It ultimately goes down to like
family. Yeah,
and families and who runs like the money in the banks. And you probably find out that it's the Vatican. Once you reach the top, it's like, oh, it's the Jesuits, because the Jesuits, we talked about that last time, I think too. They're an order that came about in the 1500s to combat the Protestant Reformation.
Okay.
Martin Luther, 1517. Look it up, see what I mean. Like, just go on Wikipedia, look up Martin Luther, see like that era.
He was basically saying like, yo, to the Vatican, he was saying, you guys are not abiding by the Bible.
Yeah,
you're changing it, right?
The Antichrist, pretty much.
Okay.
And in those days, they were calling the church, the Catholic Church, and the Pope, the whore of Babylon. They were seeing it like
then.
Yeah,
Because that's how it is in the Bible.
Yeah, like the Bible. Revelation is pretty much everything that happens after the Roman Empire or after Jesus, right? But what happened after Jesus, the Roman Empire and everything after that. I mean, the last 2,000 years. So it can apply to 1,000 years ago. You could have read Revelation and you could have pinpointed, who's the whore of Babylon. In those days, I'm telling you, for the last 2,000 years, it was Rome, and then it became the Vatican. And then by 1500s, you had all these people coming out. The truthers of those days, like the people that were like, that we always try to stand up for the truth, right? Well, in those days, they were doing that, but, there was an inquisition. They were getting killed for this shit.
Do you think
they're interpreting the Revelation prophecy as the church being the Antichrist?
Okay, this is what I like to think about. Like talking about all that, I like to bring it to now. Do you think we're gonna get to that point?
Oh, we already
ever
have.
or soon?
We've been in the point.
We're in the point of prosecution.
Oh,
and
yeah,
murder.
Well, it is in some places, not here in America, but we go to Middle East.
Well, let's talk here.
Here,
Do you think
it will.
Yeah.
Look, I was talking about with my brother how we're living in, like, if you want to see it, Stewart. Yeah, shout out
Stewart.
Yeah, Stewie. He's a big dog.
Hell yeah. Don't know you, Stu. Shout out.
Yeah, we might know him soon.
One day.
He's coming over.
I hope you
soon.
come over soon, Stu.
He'd be cool to have.
I don't know if you're real or not, brother.
Cool.
To be honest with
Would he
you.
be okay?
My imaginary friend.
Would he be okay for the podcast?
I don't know. I gotta talk to him. But
Do y'all look alike? Like I don't even know how to picture this.
He's hardcore. He's a Jesuit, man.
Does he have long hair?
No, he doesn't have long. He's short hair. We have kind of like the same. We look alike, but not identical.
Nice.
He's older than me. He's like 10 years.
Well, Stu, we'll see you here sometime soon.
Because the reason why I brought him up is we was talking about it, how it's true, how we're living like we're in Germany, but in the 1920s, Weimar.
In what sense?
How the whole inflation thing, look up the hyperinflation of those days, and then along with that, the decaying of society. There was all this like pornography, and
so who's our Hitler?
It's about to come out in 2033.
Oh, we gotta wait till then.
Yeah, because it's not anybody right now. It's gonna be someone. It's gonna be tied in with like this bio shit. There's gonna be some.
That's what he'll be pushing.
An escalation of the bio, like coronavirus, maybe another virus, something.
Oh,
and they're gonna be pushing like some. Also, like the chip.
Well, talking about
it's the same thing. Like it's all gonna happen. I think in the next decade.
And
transition. We're in the transition right now.
And he'll be like the seal. He'll be the cap.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's working towards there and then?
Well, there already is like that ideology exists already, they have a meeting everywhere in Switzerland in Davos, the fucking World Economic Forum.
And what happens in this meeting?
They talk about what's gonna happen, how they're gonna do it. They're all open about it.
They write it down too, right?
There might be like a cyber attack or something. Yeah. Look, next year for sure, the war is gonna escalate.
Which war?
World War III in Russia.
Oh man.
Shit's toward World War III. It might go into Poland.
I think Russians are good.
Yeah, they're not demons. They try to demonize them.
Yeah.
Because they want to go to,
I think they're so good that we demonize them.
In China too.
I don't know about China.
Nah, man.
China's like, they infiltrate.
That's the Jesuits. The Jesuits infiltrate. You see, they're trying to twist it around to say it's them. It's like, no.
It's the Jesuits.
Fucking... Yeah, it's for real.
Any Jesuits out there?
They're the ones that infiltrated. They control the armies, like the CIA and all that.
The Jesuits.
Through the Knights of Malta also. Yeah, the Knights of Malta. I don't know if you heard of those.
I've definitely heard of the name, and I know that you've brought it up, but I haven't looked into them myself.
It was them and the Templars back in the Crusades, but the Hospitallers are the ones that were loyal to the church.
Hospitallers.
The Templars they started going against the church.
Why?
Well, they were powerful. They were like bankers and shit. So they were kind of like a rival to
So
what the church was doing.
they were kind of. So it wasn't anything moral. It
No,
was more.
but
It was more power.
Yeah, it was that, but the Templars in a way were kind of like the proto-Protestants. So
In the sense that they went against the church.
Yeah, they went
they were the
against the
first
church.
ones to set that
Everyone-
mold, maybe.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
They were.
Do you go against the church?
Well, yeah, it's the Antichrist. So
And that is the whole. That's the whole
I don't
church.
buy it with the church. I don't go to church.
You don't go to church.
Fuck church.
Is there anything good about church that you know that?
I mean, there's good people in church. I'm not saying that.
No.
They're not going to hell or
like
anything.
look. I
It's
think
just that they.
I think within a church, maybe 90% of the people are kind of just cruising by.
Yeah, they're just following.
I think there's a 10% that are really like about it, and they're the ones that.
Not everybody that goes to church actually reads the Bible. That's the problem.
For
They're
sure.
just following some bullshit interpretation,
For sure, and sometimes they like the preacher.
or they do read it, but they have like a certain interpretation that's wrong. So
The
and
wrong. That's such a hard word. Wrong.
yeah, but
Because
there.
Isn't interpretation
What-
not right or wrong?
It's not that. It's that they created different interpretations to take
to
away
fit, to
from
fit
the
their
real
lifestyle?
interpretation.
Okay,
So we
I
were going.
see.
It's always going back to Revelation. What the differences between all the churches is how they interpret Revelation, and there's all these different interpretations of Revelation.
Is there any church that you would say? I think we might have touched on this last time. There's one church that,
That all right?
one sect that is, yeah.
There's a few of them, but I can't. I know one for sure is the
Latter?
Seventh Day Adventists, because
Seventh-day
they're the only ones that incorporate history into their interpretation. All the other churches, they don't.
Do you know
don't
anybody
do
that?
shit.
Do
They're
you know
fucking
anybody
idiots.
that's a Seventh-day Adventist? Like, have you
No,
ever
I don't
interacted
think
with
so.
somebody?
I don't think so.
It's always like
I just learned about them recently, like for real, but I probably have, but I just can't remember shit.
Got you. It's always
If you look-
interesting.
They have
to me.
interesting timelines. If you look at, just put like Seventh Day Adventist eschatology or something like that. If you Google that, it'll give you a timeline.
What is eschatology?
Eschatology means like the study of the end times. So they have, yeah, they have a cool like a chart that like goes back. It talks about everything that I like to talk about, like the Reformation, the church. They understand.
Why
that
aren't you
there
a
isn't
Seventh-day Adventist?
I don't have to
No
be.
need.
I'm bigger than that. I don't say I'm bigger. I'm a bigger dog than them. You know? I figured out some crazier shit. It's because they have your timeline, but I feel like
They have walls, maybe.
they might. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but I do agree. We do agree on a lot of shit, and they also understand that the church is the poor of Babylon,
But they're also a church.
but they're not the Catholic Church. That's not the Catholic Church.
Got you. The Vatican.
Yeah. Rome.
We said that at the exact same time.
Rome. Yeah.
What are the chances of that? On that word.
We're on the same page.
Cheers to that, brother.
Yeah. Fuck the
Vatican, bro. It's
I like-
hard. It's very hard for me, and I'm going to tell you why. All my family is Catholic. My mother is a devoted, spiritual person. Because sometimes I try to make her see beyond the church, right? I try to tell her that, yeah, go to church if it does good for you, but you can also be in tune with God at the house by yourself, like. And that's how I tell her
The
that
church is
because
not-
that's how I
The church is not the building.
have
it's-
my connection.
Yeah, the church isn't the building; it's the people. So there's a
church
concept.
isn't the building, it's the people,
Yeah,
for sure.
There's a concept of the visible church and the invisible church, and the visible church is like all the churches that exist. Like the Catholic Church and all these Protestants and Pentecostals, all these churches that exist here.
You know what
That's
was,
the visible church, and then there's the invisible church, is what you were saying. We're like.
it's a connection. It's that
Yeah,
direct.
it's more like if as long as there's two people that understand, like they're with Jesus and they understand that, and That's a church already. We're in church right now, dude.
We are
This
in
is a-
church.
Shut up.
This is a church right here. This is the podcast.
We are
Trying
in
to wake
church
up
right
people
here.
best as we can.
Bro, and the best thing about
Calm down.
the best thing about invisible church, I just found out this term, but it sounds awesome. The best thing about invisible church, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. The best thing about invisible church is that it holds you accountable. Right? It's not somebody else. It's not a preacher
Yeah.
that's forgiving you for what you already did. Invisible church is like, I am always in connection, and so I'm not gonna fuck around.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
True.
not gonna do things that is
'Cause you
gonna
have to see
make
everything
me.
everything is holy. Everything you do is a holy thing.
Yeah,
Every act.
you
So
gotta
have to
for sure
start taking it seriously. Life.
for everything,
Mm-hmm.
because 5 years ago, bro, like I remember my thought process of I'm a human, like I can't be perfect, like whenever I was gonna do something that I knew was wrong, and then and then I would ask for forgiveness, and it's so silly. It's that whole process of like saying like, yeah, I can fuck up because I'm gonna be forgiven. It's so weird.
Mhm.
And it never really stuck. It never like rang a note inside of me until I started just me by myself, and it's every day, every time, every action or reaction. I know that I'm connected right now. I'm being as not, I don't want to say godly, but I'm being as good as I can.
No, it is godly.
At every-
you're,
at every
you're fulfilling
point
the
of
will
time.
of God. That's
That's
what we have to do.
homework.
We're
you know?
supposed to create heaven on earth.
For sure.
Build the kingdom of heaven.
I totally agree. Such a subject that I
And it is like you can already see heaven on earth, but we still live under the kingdom of the Antichrist. It hasn't been overthrown yet. It probably won't be overthrown. Could be another 1,000 years, man.
for all we know.
Well, because it's an analogy. It's the day, not day, but like, it's the 3 days of when Jesus he died, because it can be seen like that. It can be seen where one day is a 1,000 years, because it's
Gotcha.
the one day in heaven. So if you think of it like that, then we just entered the third day. It's already been 2 days.
And it could be 1,000
Maybe
years.
another 1,000 years, and then.
Well, what do you think about that?
Well, that's why I mean.
Like, how does that, how does
'Cause it's-
how does that shake your outlook, your purpose, your...
Because it goes back to 2012. We were talking about that last time. I mean, this is
Something happened.
this is something that happened. Why? Because they kind of told us what everything was about in a way. They told us, fucking.
What do you mean?
They had the London Olympics, man. That shit was what opened my fucking eye, my third eye, like a fucking.
It's like a visual ritual
It nuked
for the
my
masses.
brain. Yeah, the shit, dude.
And they keep doing that more and more, like in concerts and
Well, that was the fucking celebration
even
for
in
Queen
like
Elizabeth
games.
and the new birth of the next royal. He was the king,
Mhm.
and then the next year was the birth of Prince George.
Prince George.
He's gonna be fucking King George. You get it? He's gonna be freaking all over again. Revolution.
What do you mean by that?
There's gonna be it's the American Revolution, 1776.
Okay.
That's the riddle. There's a riddle in Stanley Kubrick.
George
about that
Washington?
No, King George the
No,
Third.
no,
Well, yeah.
I know, I'm just...
They brought him back. Like, they resurrected King George, but now it's gonna be King George VII. But we can go into that. They sacrificed They did a bunch of sacrifices for that little boy,
What kind of sacrifices?
like fucking plane crashes,
Human sacrifices.
like 9/11 style. Yeah.
Now, what do you think? Because I'm totally with you on the fact that...
We'll bring up the evidence to it might take time.
Okay, so...
There's evidence. I can Show man.
There's evidence of this
It's not
ritualistic.
written, but you can, if you know how to see it. I'll show you what I mean. There's like a secret code.
And they can understand. Who's in the know understands it.
Yeah, so when it happens, you know it's them that do it. And well, it all goes back to the fucking 2012, dude, or 2013.
Because that's when he was born.
He was born in 2013.
He was conceived in 2012.
So they were doing shit. They like to count the days that he was alive. Because the thing is, they're looking towards the day he's 33.
So how old is he now?
He's 10. So they've been doing this shit for 10 years. They've been doing like signals after 2012. Because 2012 was like, okay, what the fuck's gonna happen? Well, there
was like an unrest.
Yeah, it was like there was some things that happened in 2012, but it wasn't like, I don't know if you remember. It was kind of oh shit, something's big is gonna happen.
Yeah,
something fucking big. What's gonna happen?
I mean, the first thing that I heard was the whole Aztec or the Mayan calendar.
Yeah, like the Mayan shit. That's exactly what I'm saying.
The Mayan.
And there is this kind of like suspense, like what the fuck is gonna happen, and
nothing happened.
There were some things that did happen, but you had to pay
world.
attention. It was the shooting in the Batman. I don't know if you remember the Batman shooting.
Yeah,
it was that one.
Lil Wayne predicted that shit.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's predictive programming, brother.
That
it was the same amount of skeletons.
Yeah, skeletons
in the video.
In the theater. Yeah, I've seen that.
In his video, that were
the video's called "My Homie Still."
And how many days did it release before?
It was like 3 days before the shooting, because it was like July 17th.
Lil Wayne, what was the name of the song?
It's called "My Homie Still." Look up the music video.
Yes,
look up 3 days before that shooting.
It's a very demonic video. It shows a theater, and in the seats there is some skeletons, right? And it's supposed to be play skeletons, but the amount of skeletons in the video was the amount of deaths that happen in real life. And so, people will say what they say, but there's just no coincidences. And it's a big time act, and it was just really, it was just too perfect, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look,
it was too perfect for it to be coincidence.
If you know the symbolism, like the sunrise
Lil
symbolism.
Wayne is very demonic too, man.
That one, that one happened. That's predictive programming. There's so many instances we can go into that, but
what about Doja Cat?
Oh man, she's a demon herself. I think she's already been possessed, bro.
I can fix her.
Bro, Doja Cat. I remember Doja Cat as the cow with her little cow song.
I don't even know who the fuck she is. I mean, I've heard the name, but I don't know like the music.
But have you seen anything of her?
I saw like that little meme where like she was posing as a demon or something. But.
Well, yeah, it's beyond a meme, brother. It's like I feel like these artists, once they go full demon mode, like it's almost like them saying like I'm down.
That's what makes the money, like when you start throwing in like demonic symbolism.
Why?
Or you do the eye, or you say I'm Illuminati.
And then why is it that when you start talking about Jesus Christ, you get fucking no money? You get no record
Jesus
plays.
Christ is gonna people follow Jesus Christ, and this one he said it would destroy the establishment, man. It would fucking be a revolution. Be the next word, the revolution, like straight up.
I want more Jesus Christ songs. Okay, artists out there, come on, step it up. We need Jesus Christ out here.
That's why I like Kanye West. He was doing it.
He did one.
He still does songs.
Brother, he did one.
Oh, well, but that was his most recent album.
Jesus Walks.
No, he did the album Jesus is King.
But if you really listen to it and if you see his actions, he's not godly. Kanye West is
but we can't judge.
You can judge actions that they make.
I still think Kanye West has a lot to learn.
Some of his actions are not godly.
He has a lot to learn, but I think what it is that he's trying to break free from it. And he's surrounded by all these demons and shit.
Do you think that it could be all a part of the script, though? Or do you really think that it's playing out in front of us where he's trying to break out? You know, it was a trip. Do you remember when he got, what is that called? 50-51 or whatever, when they send you to to like the hospital.
Yeah, they did that shit. He, like,
Do you remember when he came out? He had blonde hair and he was fucking hugging Trump, all looking all confused. Do you remember that shit?
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
That was
I remember.
that was
What about it?
that was trippy because he looked not anything like Kanye West. Like he did not look like himself. He was like
No, they like MK Ultra'd his ass, you know? Like,
I didn't want to say that.
they fucking gave him a lobotomy.
I didn't want to go there.
They
There's something about the blonde.
Maybe.
If we can find some pictures of like all these artists that go blonde right before something, it's a trip. I feel like they speak through
No, I've heard of that.
these color codes. George, are you thirsty?
Sure. Well, I'm drinking something right now, so
But are you thirsty for something more fantastic? Because I
I'm
am.
down because I'm
done with this
Don't-
beer. Ralph Molina Jr., I need a drink of yours. We're going to cut to you right now.
One of our favorite drinks to consume is the whiskey sour, and we're gonna do a vegan one without any emulsifier and obviously no egg white. This is what we usually do because we're a little too lazy and we just want a quick fix. So first thing we're gonna do is select our spirit. We're gonna be using the Wild Turkey 101 rye. I have to say this is probably the most value focused rye that there is on the market, and it's 101 proof, so meaning it's 50.5% alcohol. So you can back it off a little bit, which is what I'm gonna do in this recipe. Got fresh squeezed lemon juice that I did about an hour ago, and of course Zulka raw cane Mexican sugar right here to sweeten, and aromatic bitters, and of course some nice cocktail cherries. We're using some Amarena Toski cherries right here. These are really good and they're pretty affordable. They're less than $10 at your local Specs, all right? We're gonna go ahead and double the recipe because we're gonna make 2 drinks for our guests on the podcast, interviewing guests. Let's get right to it. You're gonna start with your shaker tin. We're gonna start with the cheapest ingredients first. So we're gonna do double with the simple syrup. For 1 drink, it's 0.75, so we're gonna do 1.5. I'm gonna do right here, and that right in there. And we're gonna do equal parts. We're not gonna do a tart whiskey sour. We're gonna do what we call a sessionable whiskey sour. That's also 1.5. And now for the Wild Turkey 101 rye, we're gonna back it off a little bit. Instead of 2 ounces, we're gonna do 1.75 for each one. So it's gonna be 3.5. Let me take the cap off first, obviously. So we're gonna do 2. And then 1.5. There you go, ready to go. Now let's add some ice to it. Now with the ice in there, the sugar, the acid, which is lemon juice, and the spirit, which is the Wild Turkey 101 rye, let's go ahead and freaking shake it. You don't want to shake it too much because it's gonna stay on the ice. So it's gonna start a little strong, but you're gonna be able to sip it for a long while without it being too diluted, okay? In good 5-6 seconds. Chilled glasses, because remember, this is 2 drinks in one. And now the aromatic bitters by Angostura, appointed by the Queen, rest in peace. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I want you to enjoy these whiskey sours.
Ralph, like always, you killed it, brother. I cannot wait to try this whiskey sour. George, I've never had one of these. Have you?
Yeah, I've had it before. See it.
All right. Well, let's see how this one tastes. Ooh.
Sweet.
Wow, bro. I feel like I've said this every time after your drinks. I can drink 10 of these, bro. Like usually when I have a cocktail, I don't know if they're putting too much alcohol, like, to try and please me that way, but it doesn't hit, bro. Like, this just tastes so balanced. Wow. Love it.
Yeah, I fuck with this.
I may drink it.
Shit's fucked up. It's so good.
I may drink it too
You get
fast.
so drunk on this, man.
We're not going to get too drunk, but
No.
we're going to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
George, we were talking about the music industry. Talking about Kanye West, Doja Cat being all weird.
Yeah.
They show signs of
She just gives me Rahab vibes. You ever heard of Rahab from the Bible? The fucking
Rahab?
the harlot.
well, she just came out in some appearance wearing the red dress. Full on and in her in one of her videos, I know you probably don't watch her, and I really don't keep up with her, but I watch channels that break down, music videos, and she's like in full red dress next to death. Like it is in the video, it looks kind of like magical and like, like colorful and playful, but the symbology of it, I feel is wild.
Yeah, it's just nihilism.
Nihilism. I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, that's what it probably is.
So
Some
what
kind of
what do you
nihilism.
mean by nihilism?
Yeah, we're just like worshiping demons
Self?
and fucking the self.
What do you think about that?
No, I mean,
Like, what do you think about
I can
people
see
that? What do you think about
what's
people
enticing
that
about it? But
what do you think about atheists? If I can ask real quick, because we've been talking about like Bible and maybe there's some people that haven't even touched a Bible in their lives. Why do you think people will go that route?
no, I don't know, I
Atheism.
mean,
Have you ever felt at any point in your life like like it's not real? I feel like that's what a lot of people. That's what their
No, I
process
think
is
it's
like.
just-
A God, like they can't. I guess they can't.
Yeah, no, I think it's just that I respect atheists. I can see it. I mean, I think ultimately they might come to understanding God and the Bible. So I don't think there's a such thing as atheists, man. I'm telling you, they all believe in God.
Well, here's the thing about
In the end.
atheists. It's like atheism means that you have no belief in anything, right? Basically, like
No, that's not true.
What is the exact
They're not
definition?
nihilists. I don't know.
Ah,
It's-
okay.
But
Because you still have to believe in your fellow man. You still have to believe in people obeying the law where you live, right? And you still have to believe in these things.
yeah, I mean, they're not horrible people. I'll tell you what's horrible. It's the banks, the ones that run the banks,
The ones that do it with
Switzerland.
intent.
The reason why I'm trying to go into that, it's there's been some things in the news, man, and whether you're an atheist or Christian or it doesn't matter,
Things are happening.
you can there's I've seen a pattern already where I've come to a conclusion that they're doing sacrifices every year. Specific ones, like usually the last decade they were just doing plane crashes. And like when I say sacrifices, I'm talking about fucking sacrifice, like human
life.
sacrifices. Yeah, like they brought down those planes,
Calling them accidents, but they're
call them
they're
accidents.
part
Yeah,
of a ritual.
It was a ritual, yeah. And now they're doing it through earthquakes.
Through earthquakes.
Sounds all crazy and shit.
Well, it doesn't. Recently, something happened. We were talking about the music industry, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was something in the music industry. And that same night, there was an earthquake in Turkey, if I'm not mistaken.
That was in February, but it's because there's earthquakes. There's a shitload every year.
For sure.
There's natural,
Of course, yeah.
But there's some,
That coincide with dates.
and usually they're strong as shit. And I'm starting to think now that they have fucking a machine. They got some earthquake machine.
I
DARPA. Look up DARPA. DARPA. Those motherfuckers, they probably fucking did it, man.
I saw something about like I don't even know which one, but how a U.S. boat showed up to. I'm kind of blanking out on exactly where, but a boat shows up a day or two before. It wasn't planned, and then 2 days later, freaking earthquake happens, or a tsunami or something like that. But I'm with you there. Where
who knows how they do it?
There's
but
these weapons.
They can do it.
Yeah, it's like energy weapons or
'Cause
something.
I've noticed they do it. Why? If you notice, this year was like all these wildfires and
Yeah.
the earthquakes too. Why? Because it's the start of. It's all connected with the Queen Elizabeth dying, and the start of King Charles, because that was a symbology of like the end of an era, the start of a new one. And Charles has this. If you've ever followed Charles before he became king, he was always giving speeches on climate change, dude, for decades, man.
I don't
He
believe
was
in
like,
climate change.
yeah, I know.
Just
I mean,
putting that out there.
yeah, but they push that shit. They're the ones that push it. They're the main ones.
Along
They
with
fund that shit.
Bill Gates and his foundation.
No, but they're the ones they're the reason why Bill Gates is doing it,
Okay.
because it's connected with them.
So, okay, now that you say that, I was going to ask you this. Why is it that that these, I guess, symbols and these happenings are happening in America when it's reflecting, Europe and the royal family? How are we still tied? Like, how are we still tied to that, and why is it happening here?
Because America has been taken over by the royals of Europe.
Okay,
It's
and what
in
way
a
would
way
you say?
through the financial system, Federal Reserve, the World Bank.
Okay.
It was after World War II. See, World War II
Under
established
the bridge.
America as the main superpower, and they were gonna be like the ones managing the world system through the they created all these fucking banks, dude. There's the Federal Reserve, but then you have the World Bank and then the IMF. You ever heard of International Monetary Fund? They set all the policies throughout all the third world. There's a reason why fucking Argentina is going to shit right now.
Why?
Because it's been fucking pillaged by these fucking...
Argentina?
Yeah. Damn. Now, the reason why I use Argentina as an example, if you want to know what's going to happen to the future, just like look at Argentina and like what America's going to turn into.
We
right
will
now,
be there.
Yeah, we'll be there eventually. And probably in a decade, man. Straight up, it's going to get to like a depression level kind of. We're already in a depression.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But it's like a silent, where like it hasn't been acknowledged.
And why do you think?
Because they're going to do it in 2030.
No. Why
they're waiting.
But why do you like we definitely are in a
because they're
depression right now.
Because they're already planning to switch the system to the digital. So they're going to do a crash, the big crash.
I was about to say.
So it's like, when it couldn't be, I think it's going to be in 2030s, man. Like 2032, 2033.
Well, they already.
2029, like those years, like 2029. Just like coronavirus is like 2019, and
that'll be the start.
2029 is like the next phase, bro. Big fucking.
Of all digital currency, get your fucking coins out of here.
It's all that. Yeah, it's going to be like the shift.
Bro, I remember.
And it's all connected because like it's the Charles, like this is the Charles reign, this transition, man. The 20s. Yeah, that's how I like to see it through the royalty. Like each king is like a fucking era. So Queen Elizabeth was like the era of like
she was the
after World War II, like 1947. It's when they got married, her and Philip. And it's all connected when like the start of the CIA, CIA started in 1946, I think, or 47.
Okay.
So like all these fucking agencies, the spider web
behind the scenes
started right after World War II for Queen Elizabeth.
The royals?
Not the royals, but like the royals are kind of like the head.
Yeah.
They're like the
So in my head, like the CIA,
There's a shitload of them.
the CIA is like, you know, they're like the masked men that do things that affect the world worldwide. I feel like they're the masked men that do the things, and then we call it something else.
Yeah, well, they infiltrated and run the governments of the world, and if you try to separate from that system, you get fucking a coup, get assassinated. They'll do a fucking color revolution. That's what Ukraine is. Ukraine is the fucking the current operation. Just
On the world stage.
Yeah, like the color revolution that the CIA is doing right now. It's the Ukraine. That's the.
Wait, what are you talking about? The color revolution?
Yeah, where like they fucking do like a fake revolution where like you know, they use these fucking people. And they're trying to do that with Russia. They're trying to start a war with Russia. It's because it's all the economics too. Like it's all about the dollar and maintaining dominance. You know.
Mm-hmm. But the dollar isn't dominant anymore.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So it's a World War III because the dollar is not dominating anymore. Now you have this separate system being created. Because think about it. When did it all start? With the death of Queen Elizabeth, man.
That's when the dollar began to.
That was the fall of Babylon. That was the fall of Babylon. Like, read the Bible, fall of Babylon. Revelation 17, dude.
Okay, so
because it all leads to World War III.
But how can it be a fall if there is still a lineage? There's still, you know, a successor.
Because the plan is the plan is either.
I'm sure they're
unless people wake up and
on the same plan, no?
Unless people probably wake up that they want to pretty much enslave everybody, bro, and it's just them, and eventually kill everybody off, and it's just them once they have the AI and the robots going. Sheesh. It just be them, like it's just like it's not just the royals. Like royals, like I said, are the head
for sure.
They're the Antichrist, but there's the 7-headed dragon. The there's 7 heads in the dragon, man.
Under
this is
umbrella.
There's 7 kingdoms in this shit, man.
I feel you, bro. I feel
fucking big motherfucker.
I feel you, and I understand that there's this crazy end game, but even myself, who, like, I dig deep, and I've been digging for years. Kind of like, you know, on my own. I'm not over here like fucking posting about it and shit, but I feel like
you know what I feel? I'm pissed. You want me to tell you why? Because they got some fucking earthquake machine. Let me tell you this one, dude. So, Queen Elizabeth, man, she died on September 8th last year. Dude, I swear, why I always bring her up? I'm fucking obsessed with her, bro. It's because I understood it. She was like the Queen of Babylon. Like, I understood that.
Yeah,
so
significance.
I've been paying attention to Queen Elizabeth since 2012. Like, it's fucking 10 years. So, like, her death kind of, like, it was a big fucking deal. I knew she was going to die, but I didn't think it was going to be 2022. I thought it was going to be later. I thought she'll be to like 100, but
how old was she when she died?
She was 96. But it makes sense now why it's 2022. It was a big year.
Why?
Because they wanted to do this year, the 2023, with Charles, because it's the 322. They like 322s, so they wanted to do the big.
Skull
and 322 is the death of Queen Elizabeth.
Damn.
That number, I'll show you. They like that number 322. Like, that number is the fucking.
And that's a crazy number. And that number can be mirrored too.
223. Yeah, they do. Yeah, exactly. You can play games with it. 232. The 32, the number 32. There's been a lot of false flags in the 2017 or no, 2015 Brussels. Shit, I don't even remember the year, man.
That's all good.
Brussels airport. Fucking look at that one, man. It's
Brussels airport.
Yeah, the attack happened on March 22nd, 322, and it was like 32 injured. If you look at the numbers, you see what I mean. Like, it's like all these 3s and 2s. But the interesting thing is this.
We can dive into numbers, bro.
I want to go into that. Yeah, I want to go to what I mean by that. Like, but that's probably another podcast. But just to give you a little teaser, last year Queen Elizabeth died, and it was a big deal. I don't know if you remember. It was like a fucking month of.
Yeah.
It was like.
Of mourning, but celebration.
It was like 2 weeks. Yeah, yeah. It's a fucking big deal.
What do you think about people that think that, the royals are like some fucking hybrid race of?
They're not a hybrid race, but if you study their genealogy, you start seeing why they could say that. They're fucking crazy motherfuckers.
What?
Why are they hybrid? Because they got the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha.
What is that?
It's a family dynasty. They got fucking
Saxe-Coburg-Gotha?
Yeah, they got the fucking Glucksburg with Prince Philip. Like they're all these German families. That's the hybrid. That's what.
Okay.
It's a fucking metaphor.
No, but
it's a metaphor.
I'm
bro.
talking. Okay, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The
because
reptilian.
They're talking about. Yeah, I know. They're
hybridism.
talking about the fallen angels, which is the mother of the fallen angels is Lilith.
Lilith.
You've heard of Lilith? Yeah. Lilith is supposedly. It's not mentioned explicitly in the King James version, but if it's Lilith means a screeching owl, so she does come out in the Bible, but she comes out in the King James version as a screeching owl. That's what it says. If you look into it.
Hey, screeching owl. Could that have something to do with what are the
Minerva?
No. What are the
Bohemian Grove?
Witches? The witches, the owls, the white the lechusas.
Well, that's what Lilith is. Lilith supposedly, because if you read Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, those are two different creation accounts. There's two different creation accounts.
Okay.
So the legend of Lilith came from trying to reconcile the two different creation accounts, because the Genesis 1 just talks about the 7 days, but Genesis 2 actually is the one that talks about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. So there was a legend that arose and about Lilith being the first wife of Adam, and that she's the mother of all the fallen angels. She's the demonic. Going back to what I was telling you earlier, she's the demonic mother. She's the opposite of Eve, because it's Eve.
Yeah.
Eve is the apocalyptic version, or the ideal mother.
So wait, you're telling me that let's go to the Garden of Eden. There's Adam and Eve, and then there's also Lilith.
It doesn't mention it in the Bible. It came out of a legend because they tried to reconcile. It's a legend, but Lilith does come out, but not in Genesis. It comes out. I forgot what book. Probably in Ezekiel, one of the prophets, and they say Lilith is a screeching owl. But in the Bible, in King James version, the translators use the screeching owl, but it really, if you look into it, that's what Lilith. It's Lilith.
Gotcha.
And it's like a symbol of like demonic. It's a demonic symbol.
I really want you to kind of break it down to me, because I don't think I've heard about this.
No, yeah, like I was saying, Lilith is just a mother figure, a demonic mother figure, the opposite of Eve. Eve was the mother of all of humankind.
But wasn't
Lilith was
Eve
the mother of all fallen angels.
Let me interrupt you, though. Why does it say that Eve was seduced and she was the fall of man?
Where does it say that?
Am I wrong? This might just be
like I said,
my misinterpretation, or
it's like I was saying how it's a legend. Lilith came out of a legend, but the legend is kind of where the symbology comes from. And the reason why I brought her up was because Queen Elizabeth kind of reminds me of Lilith. Like, she's like a Lilith figure. She's the mother
of evil.
She was that symbol, man. Like, I'm telling you, she was the fucking Queen of Babylon.
That's
why her death, her death represents the fall of the whole system.
Her death is the fall of
which her
system?
son, the current system.
New World Order comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ushers.
So it's her death, and then now you have the New World Order coming in, but it's going to be through the three kings that are coming up. There's King Charles. He's the transition. He's only going to be like 10 years. Then you have King William.
And it's going to be soft. It's going to be a soft transition.
A gradual, soft until 2030, and then by probably like 2033 around there, they're gonna bring in William, and William's trend like that. That's gonna be like real fascism, dude. Like he's.
What describe fascism in third grader perspective?
Well, they're gonna like try to starve everyone out. Like everyone's gonna be. They're gonna try to chip everyone. The social credit system. Yeah, like they're gonna try to get everyone on board with it, and then slowly get This system is just there to impoverish you. Like in the end, dude, like you're gonna be left with nothing, dude.
And you're gonna be happy. Isn't
Yeah,
that
it already is there. We already
isn't
are
that a
there.
quote in one of their?
Yeah, you own nothing and be happy. That's from the World Economic Forum. That's the fucking Fourth Reich, bro. Like,
That is a
the
statement.
the main head of is Klaus Schwab. Like he's a Swiss Swiss nobility. Like dude, that dude, he's freaking he's a Nazi, bro. like no fucking joke. Like they're just like they're Swiss nobility. I mean,
What can you tell to the person that just doesn't care about this?
okay, so there was an earthquake when fucking Queen Elizabeth died, but not when she died, when they buried her. So when they buried her to the ground, yeah, when they buried her, there was an earthquake in Mexico. On the same day, that day was the anniversary of all these earthquakes, and well, dude, what a coincidence! On the day she fucking died, there was another earthquake, and it was the second earthquake. It was the one I was waiting for, dude. I was waiting for this motherfucker, bro. I called that shit.
You
can
knew it was gonna
ask
happen.
Mike Sinatra, ask Ralph Molina. I told him there's gonna be a fucking earthquake, but I thought it was gonna be in August. Nah, it makes more sense. It was in September 8th on the first anniversary of the death of Queen Elizabeth.
But he called it.
Yep.
I called it a month ago.
This is Mike
Because it makes
Sinatra
sense.
and Ralph Molina
It makes
saying
sense.
that he called
it
it.
makes sense that they did it. Because the reason why I knew it was that because when they buried her, there was an earthquake, but there was another earthquake on February 2nd in Syria that killed like 50,000 people. That one was on the anniversary of the start of her reign. She started on February 6th, the death of King George V. King George VI. So the death of King George VI, the first day of her reign this year, earthquake in Turkey, and then the day she died, September 8th, earthquake Morocco, 2,000 dead.
All right,
yeah.
George. All right, George. This
Fucked up.
information
It's just
is
fucked up.
This is big news, but
Yeah.
I think this deserves
King
a
Charles.
whole episode on its own.
Climate change. It's all
George.
going to that. It's because they started their combined. Look up the last thing I'm gonna say. Look up the Illuminati card. You know the Illuminati card game. Combined disasters. That's what they're doing.
Combined disasters.
Yeah, all this fucking.
That's
shit.
how we will start the next time me and George are sitting in front of each other. Guys, I love these conversations. I hope you all do too. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have anything for us, please comment down below. Remember to like. We're trying to grow this channel. We're trying to get, as many people from our community here. We're just trying to have a good time too. We're trying to teach. We're trying to learn as well. And so thank you for watching. George, thank you for conversing with me, brother. I love these.
Yeah. Peace
Cheers.
out, everybody.
We'll
Cheers.
be back.
Read books.
Read books. Read the Bible.
Read the
Jesus
Bible.
Christ.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.